Somewhere around 25, keeping your friends stops being automatic. Nobody warns you about this. As a kid, your friends were just there. Same schools, same hallways, same teams, same 5-mile radius. One day you look up and everyone is scattered across states, across different time zones, living completely different lives. And then you realize, oh, this is actually going to take some work now. To San Diego a few years ago, all by myself, states away from every best friend that I've ever had. And it really forced me how to keep people in my life on purpose instead of just by default. And today I want to talk through what that really looks like, the mindset shift that had changed everything for me, and the exact 3-option framework that I use every time a friend hurts my feelings. Hi, my name is Haley and welcome to my channel, Clever as a Foxy, where we talk about all things fashion, philosophy, woo-woo, moving through our 20s, and documenting the process of my debut novel. I am so excited that you are here today. If you feel so inclined, please subscribe below and let's get into it. Why this suddenly gets hard. So let's talk about why this shift happens, because I don't think that it gets talked about enough. Our younger, our friends exist in a structure that we did not have to create for ourselves. School puts you in the same building every day. College puts you in the same dorms or sororities or fraternities as people. Sports teams have you practicing with the same people multiple times a week. Proximity did the work of maintaining these friendships for you as you're growing up. You really didn't have to try. All you had to do was show up. So then when you graduate or you move, or life just naturally disperses everyone, suddenly proximity is not doing that work for you anymore. And you have to learn an entirely new skill set, and that's keeping a friendship alive without proximity. Me, that moment was when I moved to San Diego. I needed to move here. I was so excited to move here. This was my dream city, and I'm genuinely so happy that I did, but it made me very sad to leave all of my people behind, and that was a huge decision for me. I realized that I had to be super intentional with my friendships than I ever have in my entire life. But I really am grateful that I decided to make this shift for myself. It really showed me the work that I was going to have to put into all of these friendships. I mean, even if you aren't moving states, this work needs to be put into your friendships once you're at this age anyways. It kind of made it a little bit easier for me to see because we weren't as close together. But once you're an adult, you're going to have to start putting that work into all of your friendships in your life, even if you are living within 10 miles of each other. But without this reset, I don't think I would have ever been really forced to learn how much work it does take to maintain these friendships. It pushed me outside of my comfort zone. I had to go looking for new people, put myself really out there, and try to find a community instead of just inheriting it. And in that time, I spent a lot of time alone, honestly. And I really learned about myself and what things that I genuinely do need from my friends, things that I want to give back to them, what kind of people that I really want to keep close. The friends that I have made over the past few years have genuinely been some of the best people I've met in my entire life. And the friendships that I have maintained have continued to grow stronger over the years as well. And I do not think that that is a coincidence. I think that that was because I became really intentional. Stop putting all of your friends in one bucket. Okay, so here is the idea that changed friendship in my 20s for me completely. My aunt had sent me a video that talked about friendships, and when you're an adult, it's okay to put your friendships in different buckets. The idea is that it is okay to have different friends for different things. You can put people in different buckets and have different types of friendships without putting the pressure of having only one or two best friends for everything in your life. And this really made sense to me because before I was expecting my friends to be everything to me and I was being everything for my friends. And that is just not healthy in my opinion. It's just a lot of pressure to put on other people. For me, I have friends that I call for different things that are going on in my life. Like now I have friends that enjoy writing, enjoy, reading, enjoy going out and getting a glass of wine. And I do have different people that I'll call in different situations, and that doesn't make anyone else a lesser or better friend. It's just more realistic. And this idea hit me like a breath of fresh air because I genuinely believed that people had to be my closest friend and I had to be their closest friend, or there was no point continuing with these people. Which, if you're the anxious type like me, is very exhausting for all parties involved. And as we get older, most of us don't have time to spend with our friends like we used to in the past. So the bucket system takes an enormous pressure off. Nobody has to be everything for you, and I think that that is really healthy. And it just means that you'll have a full community of people instead of one or two overloaded people in your life. The anxious girl spiral and how I got out of it. So I want to be honest and a little vulnerable about something because I think that other people will probably relate to this. I really do overthink relationships, romantic, friendships, family, all of them. Will replay conversations in my head over and over again, thinking about like every single possibility of how that conversation could have gone differently. And that puts an enormous pressure on other people and myself. And I kind of found that especially with the distance, this spiral that I was doing to myself was turning people into villains when that really was not the case. Like if someone was hurting my feelings, my first thought was that it was malicious. Like they sat there and decided to hurt me. But really, most of the time, that's definitely not what was happening. It was a mistake or something that I completely made up in my head. And a lot of times they weren't thinking maliciously. They just really weren't thinking of me at all, which definitely kind of stings, but is super realistic to the world that we live in. Like most people are focused on themselves rather than others. Completely different thing than being wronged on purpose. Learning to assume the best in people has been the best thing that I have ever done for my mental health. Now my default is, like, for example, if someone didn't invite me to something, it's like, oh, they probably just didn't even think of me, more than what it was before. It's like, oh, they thought of me and they decided not to invite me. And the thing is that this still hurts, but it takes a lot of the pressure off me having to obsess over it and thinking, what did I do to make them not want to invite me or include me in this certain thing? And it also helps me not carry resentment in any future interactions. So I really try to give people grace in most situations. And I do think that, like, for me, I am always thinking of my friends and always trying to include everyone in any type of situation. So naturally, I will keep the people who do the same thing for me closer. But not every mismatch means that someone is a bad friend or maliciously trying to hurt you. It just means that you may need to put them in a different bucket. Here are the 3 things that I do if someone has hurt my feelings. Okay, so this part I actually have found so useful, so stay with me here. As we get older, conflict does not disappear, it just shows up differently. And I think that this can be such a blessing, because without that built-in closeness, we can see friendships a lot clearer than we would have in the past. Things that we potentially would have let slide in college or in school actually start to register, and we don't have to let it slide. Lack of invitations, things that were promised and not followed through, lack of communication in certain situations where it was needed. For going through these things myself, I've came up with 3 options to go through if someone that you care about hurts your feelings. 1, you can never speak to them again. That's the cool thing about being an adult with free will, is that you really are able to do what you want. 2, you just let it go. Or 3, you can tell them that they hurt you and then you can see how they respond. For anyone that you genuinely care about, option 3 is the best option, unless you are ready for them to exit your life completely. Full disclosure, I am an Aquarius and have used option 1 a few times, but for the people that you actually want to keep, you absolutely owe it to your friendship to have that conversation. And here's why I think it matters so much. When you're anxious, like I am, you'll replay the situation over and over again, looking for a way out. And there really never is once you're in that spiral. The way out would be in the actual conversation. There is a real possibility that this person made a mistake. I mean, we're all humans, mistakes happen. And there's a possibility that they did not mean to make you feel that way at all. If they are a real friend, they would not make you feel terribly on purpose. So I think the best move is to assume the best of the person first. And if the best does not meet your standard, that's very useful information. You should use it. Then you need to have the conversation. Say the thing out loud instead of leaving it to what ifs and resentment in the future. If they are a genuine friend and you tell them that something that they did hurt you, they will care and they will say they're sorry. And then you can see their actions moving forward. I believe that actions a lot of time moving forward are the real apology, not the words themselves. And if they completely dismiss your feelings entirely, that will tell you something too. This is probably not someone that you want to keep as a friend in your life. I fully believe that you should always give people the opportunity to prove you wrong, because most of the time they will. Expect your friends to change also. So one more thing before we wrap it up, because I do think that this gets skipped over. As we get older, we change, we evolve, we grow, and that's kind of the whole point. We have to extend that expectation to our friends as well. They are allowed to change too. They're going to be learning at the same time as you are, just with a different set of experiences. Some friendships will not survive that, and I don't think that that is a tragedy. I think that that is honestly really poetic, and you can appreciate that person and the friendship that you have without having it in your life moving forward. That doesn't lessen everything that you had gone through with that person and the things that you have experienced together and the friendship that you had shared. But as people change, sometimes people grow in completely different directions, and that's okay. I do think that a lot of friendships do survive this, especially if both of you are able to allow each other to grow and embrace that, instead of holding on to the person that they were or you were when you first became friends. So to boil the whole video down, friendships in your 20s and in adulthood take actual, real effort. And that's not a bad thing. You just have to be more deliberate about who's in your life. If this resonated, please let me know in the comments. I really do love looking through all of those. Thank you all so much for being here. It means the world to me. I'll see you all next week.